Keep yourself in the loop of everything football. Listen to Alex and Jeremiah on the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Hello there, I'm Jeremiah.
I am Alex, always and forever here.
Dedicated to college and NFL football. The latest football news on and off the field. NFL draft trade rumors. We've got you covered from the NFL, Big Ten, SEC, Big 12, Pac-12, ACC, and everything else in between. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Thank you for tuning into the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, where we discuss the latest news, rumors, and games of the NFL and college football from the latest signings, this year's breakout stars, and all of the news in between. As always, I am Alex.
And I'm Jeremiah.
And I'm Anthony.
Boom. It's 3 back.
Yeah.
Boom.
Back to back.
It's like NFL Live.
Yeah,
But
sure.
They have 5.
Like NFL Red Zone. Boom, 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 like that.
I love the Red Zone.
Yeah, I do too. A lot of people don't like it.
Who does the Red Zone?
I think
like the Red Zone?
I think
Yeah.
some people don't like it because, like, you know, it switches off games every now and then.
It's
Well,
like,
yeah, it's showing the Red
Like,
Zone.
you're not changing the channel. You can't control it. But me, I love it because, I don't know.
It's like you had a reason, and he's abandoned the reason.
like it's just like it's football the
It's
entire day.
football.
Like
It's
it's not like it's
football. Yeah.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, how
It's
do
just
you...
for
What's
ADD
not to
people.
like?
How do you
It's like watching
not
the
like
game
that?
mix on DirecTV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I don't have I don't have the Sunday ticket anymore. I wish I did though. I love. Excuse me, Sunday ticket. Not to mention being I'm sure it's relevant for you too, Anthony. Being a fan of a team that's on the other side of the country,
Right.
It's hard to always get those games. So I was always, I could always watch Steeler games. But
That is why I have a team in California. That is why.
that was why you chose them, because
No.
you're like, man, I'm gonna make sure I can always watch them when I'm older. Is that why you chose them?
Maybe.
No, it's not why. It's because you're from Fresno.
No.
Is it the Niners or the Raiders?
It's
for
the
you?
Niners.
Oh, that's
He's a
nice.
Niner fan. Yeah,
If you
sorry,
listen to
man.
the show, you would have knew that.
That's
Hey,
fine. I knew
leave
it was
him alone.
California. I was 50-50 shot. Well, I guess the Chargers
kidding.
too, but no one's a Chargers fan.
No one's a
here.
Charger fan. My brother
Could be a
is.
Rams fan.
That's true. You could be a Rams
You
fan
could
now.
now. You could now. Well, there was a lot of Rams fans growing up.
My
back
my
in the day.
friend's dad, he's a diehard Rams fan from when they were here for the first time for as many years as they were here. Long time. Long time. All right. Well, that was a long time. Let's talk.
That was a
let's-
long
All right.
segment. Okay.
And let's talk about what we're talking about today in our segments, Jeremiah. What are we talking about today?
We're going to be previewing tonight's Thursday night football matchup between the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. And we're also going to get into tonight's college football matchup between Clemson and Georgia Tech, who are both undefeated to start the season. But, of course, Clemson is the 5th-ranked team in the country, and we'll get more into that matchup. And, of course, every Thursday we end with the final drive with stories that slip through the cracks a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Pretty excited. You excited?
Dude, I'm always excited. This is going to be the best show we've done ever.
Super confident. I like it.
He's confident.
Yeah.
Man. It's like he knows what he's talking about.
Of course.
Let's start with, you want to go college or NFL first?
Let's go with the NFL because that's what I think this game has a lot more headlines
Okay.
so far. So, yeah, let's start off with the Thursday night game.
Okay.
Yeah, so Houston Texans and the will be going on the road to Gillette Stadium to face the New England Patriots. And both teams are 2-0. But the big story here is that the Patriots will be without Jimmy Garoppolo,
Mm-hmm.
who I think you said he's going to be dressed out.
He's going to be dressed as the
Yeah.
backup, but I imagine they don't want a scenario in which he's going to play. You know what I mean? And the emergency quarterback, of course, will be Julian Edelman.
So that means Jacoby Brissett, rookie from North Carolina State.
Brissett, yes, sir.
Did I say
Okay.
brisket?
You did.
Oh, my bad.
You made me hungry now.
Not a meat.
Not a meat.
Not a meat. Brissett.
He's a human, buddy. Not food.
But anyways, Jacoby Brissett is the starting quarterback tonight for the Patriots.
Yeah, he's formerly of North Carolina State.
Yeah.
North Carolina State.
I just said that, North Carolina
yeah.
State.
He wasn't bad in college. He wasn't amazing or anything, but he played well. Kevin Johnson, who was the first-round pick of the Texans, not last year, but maybe the year before that, I think. He's talking about remembering playing him remember playing him in college when they were both in the ACC, and he said, I remember him being a good player and athletic, mobile quarterback. Of course, he is a rookie, though. So in a Bill Belichick offense, who knows how well this kid is going to be able to play.
Yeah, and they probably won't rely on him that much. They'll probably just say, LeGarrette Blount, here, you have this, you run, hopefully for 120 yards, just to eat up a lot of the clock. I mean, last week, when he played, he was only 6 of 9 for 92. Didn't look terrible, had a fumble, but looked, competent enough if you're going to be the third-string quarterback coming into the season. Yeah. Someone that you don't want to rely fully on, but also, there's now reports that maybe Gronkowski plays.
Yeah, as right now, he's questionable.
Right, and if you have both, so if you have both Gronkowski and Michael Bennett, or Martellus?
Martellus. Yeah.
Martellus Bennett, if you have both of them playing, that at least helps him out as far as someone that he can go to. Still got Julian Edelman if he doesn't have to become the quarterback. Like, you have at least some options on there that'll help him out in case he gets kind of overwhelmed.
Yeah, and like I was saying, in terms of the status for these players, like you said, Gronkowski's questionable, and then obviously Garoppolo's list is doubtful, but he's apparently going to dress. So, Jeremiah, I talked to Anthony about this on the sports show. Who do you have realistically winning this game, though?
Probably the Houston Texans.
Okay, that's 3 for 3.
Oh, that's what you guys said, too.
Wait, yeah, we agree.
Well, this offense, has started off really kind of hot in a way.
Hot-ish, yeah.
Yeah,
Billy played well. I mean,
they look surprisingly low-key explosive.
Yeah, Osweiler's still making silly mistakes, but otherwise...
Will Fuller, 2 straight 100-yard receiving games, and as well as DeAndre Hopkins, who's always going to be a beast on the field. Yeah. I think he's one of the top receivers in the league. And then you got Lamar Miller as the cowbell or the workhorse. I think I said that wrong.
Cowbell?
or bell cow. There you go. Bell cow.
That was the cowbell, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got to have more cowbell.
More cowbell. I need more cowbell.
Wow, you sounded just like him.
What, like Christopher Walken?
Yeah, no, you didn't.
No.
You sound like Jeremiah.
We'll see if I can.
You have to elongate the cowbell. Like, yeah,
that's good.
I need more cowbell.
No, that's
bad. I need more cowbell. Okay,
I can't do Christopher Walken, but the only thing I ever, whenever I say I can do it, people go, "What do you do?" I just go, "Come on,
come on."
He's like, "Come on." When he does that really high pitch, like he's squeaking, "Come on." Oh, man. Okay, well, yes, we all three of us have the Texans winning this game. Personally, I think yes, because their offense has been pretty decently good. Like you said, you got good yards from your starting 2 receivers. Don't even get me started when Braxton Miller comes back and he plays healthy. And I think their defense is better than the New England Patriots offense is going to be tonight, for sure. We were talking about it before this show started. As a defense, they've only allowed a combined average of 297 total offense. They've only given up an average of 13 points per game in the first 2 games. Again, that is only through 2 games, but I mean that's pretty good first 2 games if you ask me.
Yeah, and you have J.J. Watt, who he might be hurt, but still.
Oh, he's playing.
Yeah, he's still playing. He's still doing well. You got Jadeveon Clowney on there, who, according to reports, he's healthier than he's ever been. He worked out with what's his name, the Fox Sports. Jay Glazer.
Yeah.
He worked out with Jay Glazer. Jay Glazer, propped him up, said he was doing really well. So that defense is something you still have to worry about, especially for, a rookie quarterback. It's something, you don't want to see J.J. Watt if it's your first actual start. That's not exactly the best case scenario for you. So, yeah, I would have more faith in their defense than the Patriots offense.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, we currently obviously have 2 undefeated teams. Somebody's going to be defeated after this one.
Right.
I just think that there's more things going for the Houston Texans in this point than the Patriots would have to overcome. And again, you can never count out a Bill Belichick team, but at the same time, I just don't see them coming in here and realistically like dominating like you would assume a Patriots team would. The defense for a regular, just backup like Garoppolo, that defense is tricky, let alone a rookie, third string quarterback. It's just gonna be hard,
And the Texans are actually this is actually the first road game.
Yeah, they're 2-2-0 at home.
Yeah, 0-0 on the road, so they're undefeated on the road.
That would make sense.
There you go.
Yeah, that would make sense, man. Yeah. But I just think, I mean, not to take anything away from the Patriots defense either. The Patriots defense is very good,
right?
And they can definitely, win a game. We saw it in Arizona. They can definitely help win a game. So it's not like they don't have a defense either to mess with Osweiler, but I think in that aspect, I think Osweiler definitely has an easier test ahead of him than Brissett does, in my opinion, at least. I mean, I'm going to watch this game. I'm interested to see how Brissett does for sure. And I haven't really got an extended look at Osweiler since the start of the year. All the preseason games were kind of out of the area, so I didn't get to watch them. I haven't really paid attention to that many Texans games yet this year, so I'll be interested to see how he plays as well. One thing I know about him, I hate his throwing motion. I hate
Who?
it. Osweiler.
Osweiler.
It's like he pulls his arm back like Phillip Rivers style, but he throws it out wide like Kaepernick. I'm like, how do you have a strong arm? It's insane to me. So we have a 3-way, just Houston.
3-way tie. Yep.
Tie.
Yeah. The one thing I would say, though, with the Patriots is Belichick's really good at, if you do one thing really well, he'll take that away. He'll deal with the other stuff that you do well.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, at least between Osweiler and Lamar Miller, those two are, at least going to be the focal points running and passing. Lamar Miller's only, 3.6 yards per carry, and Brock Osweiler has 3 touchdowns but 3 interceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So if he takes out one of them, let's say he takes out Lamar Miller and just says, all right, you're not going to rush the ball as much. We're just going to, stack the line, and then he just basically dares Brock Osweiler to do anything against them, says, all right, you now are tasked with the job of actually beating us through the air. And I think he played last year when he was on Denver. He didn't have a terrible game, 23 of 42 for 270, a touchdown interception.
Mm-hmm.
So they may actually, force Osweiler to do that. And I
But
was
he had more of an offense in that position, I would say.
Right, and he had a better defense to help him out, and so he wasn't asked to do as much. But I would probably say, they'd have him. The Patriots would make Osweiler be the focal point.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been something he was good at as a defensive-minded coach. Belichick is really making you, take away the strength and make you focus on the weakness.
Right.
So I think if Lamar Miller can get moving, then yeah, they're in a good spot. But if not, this could be a close game, a low, ugly, close scoring.
It's also
game.
Thursday night. And Thursday night tends to be weird games, anyways.
Yeah.
Until you get to about halfway of the season, it's like
right.
Okay, because I said last week's game was going to be low scoring, and look
And
how
you were
that
wrong.
and look how that turned out.
I almost nailed it right on there. Anthony.
But
Almost
anyways, if the Patriots win this game, I don't know. I say give him the Super Bowl right now. Give it to him.
The Patriots. No.
Yeah.
They still have 13 games.
I'm just
Yeah,
kidding.
for all you know, Tom Brady can come back and be horrible. Not likely, but hey, man.
it goes 0-12.
They went 16-0 and they lost the Super Bowl.
I know. I'm kidding, guys. Yeah.
Oh man.
Kidding.
Okay.
Just kidding, guys.
You're kidding, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's
we
move on.
Our first break, or are we going straight into the college game?
Yes, we will. We will indeed.
Take a first break?
Yeah.
All right, take us to it, Jeremiah.
Okay, we'll be back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast after this first break.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
And we're back here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, and we're going to talk college football now. We have number 5 Clemson taking on, obviously unranked, Georgia Tech, the Yellow Jackets, at home, who are currently 3-0, as a matter of fact, facing off against the 3-0 Clemson Tigers. One can imagine that Georgia Tech will no longer be unbeaten after this one, but nobody knows. Clemson hasn't exactly looked like the powerhouse that was in the college football playoff championship game last year against the Rolling Tide. They have looked different, but then again, last week they did play a shortened game because they blew out their opponent that bad. So it looked about the same. Interesting enough, Sean Watson's not playing quite to the level he was at the start of last year, but he's definitely kicking in the last few games. Currently 8 yards shy of 700 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Don't even get me started on his rushing yards because they are nice. They are nice. And
Nice.
In the flip-flop, you have, I don't know if he's not their all-time starting. I don't know if he hasn't started every game, but Georgia Tech's quarterback only has 335 yards passing and 1 touchdown. So after 3 games, this offense isn't looking like it's scoring a lot of points. Already, their leading rusher has 169 yards on the ground, leading receiver 102. So it doesn't look like they're an amazingly crazy offense to say the least. But this should be a good game, I imagine. At least good for somebody. What do you think, Jeremiah?
Yeah, and one thing I want to point out is that Clemson has not defeated Georgia Tech and Atlanta since 2003. So
Wow.
That's something to.
How many times? But how many times have they played though?
I think most recently they played there was in 2011.
But I mean, how many times since 2003 though?
Since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know on top of my head, but I just know recently it has been at Clemson, so that's why I know this.
Mostly it's been at Clemson.
It's mostly been at Clemson. Yeah.
They were at Georgia Tech in 2011. Lost. Clemson did 17-31.
Yeah, and that was Deshaun Watson's freshman year.
Taj Boyd.
Yeah. Taj Boyd?
Yeah, Taj Boyd was a quarterback. They had Sammy Watkins and DeAndre Hopkins at that time.
And Martavis Bryant.
They had such a good squad. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know
that was
how
a good
they
squad.
didn't.
Taj Boyd.
Yeah, like, I don't know how they didn't do better. You have those receivers, like, fine, you guys went 10-4, but you probably should win a couple more games, like, just off of that offense alone.
I honestly, I'm surprised they weren't ranked higher or win one more games. But
Right.
I mean, this looks like a clear-cut win for Clemson in my eyes.
Yeah, like you said, they haven't
I
been-
think so too. They're just a more talented team than the Yellow Jackets, and Georgia Tech actually has the same win total already as last year. So that's something that that shouldn't be overlooked either. I'm not saying Georgia Tech shouldn't be overlooked, but I'm saying Clemson is the more talented team. When comparing these two squads.
Yeah, no, they're absolutely more talented. The thing with Georgia Tech is they have that, like, triple option offense where they just run the ball a lot. Like you said, like, their leading quarterback only has 300 yards. Their thing is basically they're just going to run it down your throat, and, that'll work every now and then. It's not going to win you all the games, like you said, 3-9 last year. But that's what Clemson has to kind of understand going into the game, that, like, yeah, maybe Deshaun Watson can get back to Deshaun Watson style, but it's just going to be something totally different than what you have to deal with for the other teams.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and in that sense too. I mean, Deshaun Watson, I think with this kind of defense he's playing, I think eventually he's just going to overpower them. The way he plays.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know what his rushing yards are this year. I'll take a look at that in a second.
Watson's not. He only has, I think, like near 100 yards. Like, it's not.
There's one game he had minus yards.
So he's not, like, setting the league on fire with that, which I guess kind of makes sense because after having such a good year last year, teams are going to, with this being your junior year, this is the last year, people are going to, like, focus on you more. You had such a good year, and now they're going to be like, okay, he can do this, he can do that. He's not good at this. Yeah, he only has.
He's got 80 yards rushing right now.
Yeah, so.
No touchdowns.
No touchdowns, and he only has 7 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, so he hasn't been, like you said, lighting the world on fire.
And funny enough, in their blowout last week, he only had 2 attempts. He only had 8 yards rushing.
Yeah, well, that was also one of the 59-0 games.
I know, but you think it's a blowout. You think, he might have been responsible for some of it.
A little bit more. He only had 152 yards passing. It was probably one of those things of just like, okay, we're good. They start bringing in the backup.
Well, Jeremiah and I talked, too, about, how he was obviously probably one of the better dual-threat quarterbacks going into this year.
Right.
We have Greg Ward Jr., and now
Lamar Jackson.
my
boy.
Who I would say might be the best dual-threat quarterback playing right now, only because of what he's doing.
And next week, remember, Louisville will play Clemson next Saturday, so that's going to be something we're going to be talking about moving forward. But that's just a matchup I have circled on my calendar. I just want to point that out there. But anyways, getting back to tonight's matchup. Deshaun Watson, I said, he was probably the best dual-threat quarterback in college football. But he has some competition standpoint, and he has not look like the same guy. He did struggle a little bit in the first 2 wins, against Auburn and Troy. And he, like you said, Alex, he didn't really like that light it up last week.
Not really,
against the FCS team, which is kind of surprisingly, considering the score. So I do expect, a quote-unquote bounce-back game from Deshaun Watson tonight, which is it's kind of tough to say, having a bounce-back game when your team's 3-0 and ranked 5th. But, this is Clemson. They were in the championship last year, so the expectations are higher. So I do expect Watson to have a bounce-back game, statistically, tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I mean, hopefully, in his sense, for the team that's really trying to get back into the college football playoff contention, really just outside the top 4 there, they have some work to do.
Yeah, and you would like to have some confidence, like you said, with Deshaun Watson. So, like he hasn't lit the world on fire, but this is your warm-up game, for the week after that against Louisville, because Louisville, they beat down Florida State.
Louisville is probably going to win their game.
63-20. Yeah, they're facing Marshall.
They're
going to beat
probably
them
going to win that game.
or they can't even score 97-2.
They might shorten that game.
Right.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. And even if after that, Louisville, let's say they beat Clemson, they're going to have to face Houston at the end of the year. So they're going to have to face a hard, schedule regardless. So they seem ready enough to where with Clemson, you want to at least have some confidence against an FBS team, not, beating down an FCS team. You want to have some confidence going in there. So if they can beat Georgia Tech, 38-10 or something like that, they would like to have that confidence going into Louisville, which is going to be, probably the game of the week.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely.
Agree with you on that. All right. Well, hey, let's take our last break. We'll come back, and we will talk Final Drive, news that we missed this week, in a very busy week in football. So let's do that. Sound good, guys?
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Oh, okay. No, I love the enthusiasm. All right, we'll take a last break here at the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast.
Do you want to be healthier, yet you just don't know what to do? All these shows telling you this and that, but nothing seems to work. Well, listen close. Golden State Media Concepts has got something great for you. The Health and Wellness Podcast dedicated to workout trends, healthy eating habits, diet, and everything about healthy living. Join us in our banters as we help you not just live life to the fullest, but live it to the healthiest.
Welcome back to the Golden State Media Concepts Football Podcast, and we got one final segment for you guys. That is the Final Drive. Yes, we will be talking about stories that slip through the cracks throughout the week. So who wants to go first? Any of you gentlemen out here? Alex or...
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. So as we talked about earlier this week, Jay Cutler, he sprained his right thumb, his throwing thumb. He throws football just with his thumb, Now, the same one he broke a couple years ago in 2014. Well, their only quarterback, I think, on the active roster was Mr. Brian Hoyer. So they went out this week and they signed somebody from the practice squad, none other than former USC, Arizona Cardinal, and Philadelphia Eagle quarterback Matt Barkley. Signed to the active roster. He joined the Bears after being waived by the Cardinals this month. Arizona had acquired him from Philadelphia in 2015. He appeared in 4 games for the Eagles, completing 30 of 50 passes, 300 yards, and 4 interceptions. So not amazing, of course. But he'll be the backup for 30-year-old veteran Brian Hoyer, who, of course, is probably going to be the starter for the foreseeable future as long as Cutler is out. I don't imagine, unless he gets hurt, that Barkley plays.
Yeah, Barkley's just like the worst case scenario.
He's the emergency quarterback.
Yeah, he's just because you've seen him play. He's not the best. He's if you can get him in for a couple of plays, fine. But
he can complete passes. He can move the ball, but he throws picks.
Yeah,
that's his thing.
That's the problem.
He throws picks.
Yeah,
that's the problem.
Which is
that's a big problem too. So yeah, and I really thought Matt Barkley was going to be a really good pro. Man, he really declared a year late to the NFL draft. He declared so late. Because if he would have declared a year earlier, he would have been a top 10 pick.
Done the Mark Sanchez thing where you come out early. Yeah,
exactly. He would have been top pick, and we saw after his senior year, he dropped all the way down to I think the 4th round. Yeah, and I really thought he was going to be a good pro regardless, but he just doesn't take care of the football. That's all it is. But yeah, I don't expect Matt Barkley to pretty much play unless Hoyer gets hurt, which I think could happen because Hoyer does have a history of injuries. But yeah, he's just the quote-unquote emergency quarterback.
I always love that. Like, I'm not saying you're wrong by any stretch, but just like, yeah, he has a history of injuries. Like, the NFL is super violent. Like you have 300-pound dudes coming at you. It's like I'd have injury-prone issues. Like,
well, technically, everyone does have injuries. I'm saying though, like,
but his are worse. Yeah,
his are worse. His haven't missed time. So,
right. Yeah. No, totally.
Right. I know injuries happen all the time. I know.
It's just a weird thing. Okay, so moving on. So we have Adrian Peterson, who had successful surgery. He decided to have his knee instead of just like he had to have the more severe surgery, which will actually have him out months instead of for a couple of weeks. He's kind of taken the long-term approach of it. Maybe he comes back at the end of the year. We assume he's out for a long period of time. Maybe he comes back a little bit earlier, but I think like I was telling you before, we assume he's going to come back maybe earlier just because he's Adrian Peterson.
Yeah.
Because we've seen him do this before, and when he had the ACL surgery before, he came back, given it was back in 2012, rushed for 2,000 yards.
Yeah, and I think it's reported that he might miss 3 to 4 months.
Right.
But, he could come back this season because, Adrian Peterson just not human, even though he's over 30 years old and he's a running back.
Yeah.
He's still not human. And if the Vikings are somehow in playoff contention, I do think he's going to find a way, AP that is, find a way to get back onto the field and be active for the Vikings. Because, AP is pretty much a very significant part of their offense. Pretty much the whole team.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, he kind of is their team.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't be surprised if he came back, but I wouldn't be surprised if he missed the time that's reported as well.
Right.
And
they said with Vikings, the way they're playing, it's a little bit different than what Peterson likes. He likes to be in the I formation, just get a head start so I can hit the hole. But the Vikings, they were saying, they had 87% of the snaps in the shotgun formation for Bradford. That's what he likes. Mm-hmm. And by the time he gets back, he may have to adjust to that because they've gone through the whole year now with, Sam Bradford as the quarterback, as Bridgewater just shredded his knees terribly. So by the time he gets back, he may have to adjust to just a whole new offense, and maybe he's not even coming back. Maybe he leaves the Vikings. So, this whole surgery that he's having could have ramifications not just for him, but for the whole team going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely brings very uncertainty. Right. The future is very uncertain there for AP in
Absolutely.
Minnesota. Yeah. But in other injury news, Browns rookie receiver Corey Coleman. Yeah, he will be out for 4 to 6 weeks with a broken hand. He hurt it in practice. And, he doesn't need surgery, but it is a very big blow to the Browns. He had a really good game, on Sunday, 104 yards and 2 touchdowns. And what a blow it is for this offense and not only and Cody Kessler, too, the new starting quarterback, this Sunday. I don't know. The Browns keep browning. They just keep browning.
What'd I tell you? Tells you that's his thing. He likes it. I'm interested to see how Kessler plays on Sunday.
Yeah, me too. It's one of my games I'm going to preview tomorrow. It is a very exciting matchup. I'm looking forward to.
I like it. Who are they playing again?
They are playing the Dolphins.
Yes. So
Dolphins. Who knows with that? The Dolphins are up and down. But, for right now, they're going to run their third quarterback in 3 games. Actually, their 5th quarterback if you go back to last year.
5 for 5. 5 for 5.
5 for 5. Not a good 5 for 5. But, yeah, Coleman's been doing really well. You hope he can get back. I do love, even though it's chaos because it's the NFL, he's on his ESPN profile. The Browns have confirmed he suffered a fractured hand during Wednesday's practice. Doubtful. Not out. Doubtful. Broken hand. I got to catch the ball with broken hand. That's fine. Just doubtful. Not
put
out.
Some tape on it, man.
I get it if you're a defensive end and you have that club.
Yeah,
but
but you need your hands.
Right. That kind of is maybe the number one thing. Maybe you need a little bit of speed, but you definitely need your hands. Doubtful.
I like it.
All right. Does that conclude our show?
I believe it does.
Okay, cool, sweet. Take us out of here, man.
All right. Well, as always, you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play at the GSMC Football Podcast, as well as on Instagram and Twitter at GSMC_football. You can find us on our website and the portfolio of all of our network shows, GSMCpodcast.com, as well as on Facebook at the same name, GSMC Podcast Network. You can find all the shows as well individually. And you can find us on YouTube that way as well. If you search GSMC Football Podcast or the GSMC Podcast Network, you can find all the shows through there as well. Well, thank you guys for listening. I am not here tomorrow. I'll be back on Monday to talk a great weekend of football and preview the Monday night game. Jeremiah will be back, of course. Anthony will be back tomorrow. And I believe Ben is on the show tomorrow as well.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, he is. He is replacing you tomorrow.
He can
Temporarily.
try. He can try.
But anyways,
can try.
I'm Jeremiah.
I'm Anthony.
And I'm Alex. I want to thank you guys for listening, and we will see you guys next time. Have a good rest of your day, and watch some football tonight.